want to talk? So let's talk. Yeah. Talk. You want to talk? You gotta talk. You need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk. You wanna
Good evening and welcome, my friends. It's time for Talk to Solomon. That's me, Stan Solomon. I'm the host. My co-host,
Chief Steve.
former Police Chief Steve Davis, lawman extraordinaire. Joining us shortly will be my friend Greg Howard, a financial expert. And our guest is Keith Davies. Keith, I don't know where he's calling us from, but Keith is a person focused on, knowledgeable about, and involved with the Middle East. Keith, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Now, your organization is called RescueChristians.org, and so I'm going to presume from that, and based on what I was told, that you are active in trying to save the lives of Christians who find themselves in an ever more hostile Middle East filled with Muslims bent on doing what the Quran says, and that is convert or die. Is that close?
Correct. Yeah, but we have two divisions. That's one of the divisions of our organization. We also the parent organization is Forum for Middle East Understanding, which also supports the work of Walid Shubat and other converted Muslims to Christianity who are exposing the truth to the American public. So we have two divisions in our organization, that and the Rescue Christians work, which we have been working on for the last 2 years as a result. And the reason we're doing this work is we were trying to find other organizations in America that actually do this type of work. There is organizations that are involved in making people aware, but they don't do any physical rescue of Christians. They just make people aware of the situation. We felt that we needed to do more than just make people aware, but actually do physical rescue.
Well, that does make sense, especially for the Christians who are in danger. And I know there are two pastors who were sentenced to death. I think one, they took off the death sentence, but they still haven't let him go. I'm not sure what they did with the other one. But let's step back for a bit. I'm going to talk about the Middle East. The reality is we just saw something that you rarely see, and that is a quote-unquote uprising wherein an ambassador was murdered in a grotesque way, and where a country was in the crosshairs of the people. Now, this comes from Libya, a country where, because of United States actions and weapons, the people were able to overthrow Gaddafi, a brutal guy, and yet it seems not to have ingratiated the United States at all, much to the chagrin of our inept and incompetent president. So, and I'm not asking you to make political comments, I'll do that, but let me ask you, when you have the government of Libya saying, not in a diplomatic way, but out and out, enthusiastically, this was premeditated, this was planned, this ambassador was killed before the so-called outrageous response to this video that's been out for weeks or months, what is your knowledge about or your feelings on what took place in Libya?
Well, we just go back. If we go back to the Libyan crisis, when they were trying to overthrow Gaddafi, we wrote our organization, specifically in Dr. Ali, wrote about the situation over there, and we were able to discover that many of the participants in the overthrowing of Gaddafi were members of Al Qaeda and leading members of the Muslim Brotherhood. Apparently, according to the liberal media, the gentleman that's taken over, Mahmoud Jabril, who's the Prime Minister of Libya, is some sort of moderate. Now, he may be moderate in terms of what's over there, but he's not moderate in terms of what we would regard as moderate. All you have to look is the Libyan ambassador to the United States, who stands with ISNA and CARE, criticized Michelle Bachmann, ISNA and CARE are fronts for the Muslim Brotherhood. So, according to the Western media, Libya has a moderate government, but we would argue that he may be moderate in the times of the Western media and Western governments, but he's no moderate in terms of the realistic situation of what we really need to do to reform Muslim countries.
Now, let me ask you specifically, do you believe what the Libyan government says, that this was premeditated, that they warned America 3 days in advance? Do you believe that or not?
Yes, I think that the Libyan government is not telling us any lies. I think they're telling the truth. I think if you look at the track record of our current administration, we get lots of lies from them. I mean, I think it defies or insults the American people's intelligence to claim that a film caused this problem. I mean, it just defies all credibility. Why did they pick 911? Why is the crowd in Egypt were shouting, "We're all Osama's now, Obama"? Well, that's got nothing to do with a film. We actually did a lot of research into this, and we looked at the Arabic media and Arabic newspapers, because the people that we work with all speak Arabic, and we found out that this was all pre-planned a month ahead. And they actually even admitted that the film was going to be used as a way of making us into, in other words, making the guilty party the United States, and they were reacting to something that we did when they were just using it as a propaganda plot. And this was done by the Nazis, by Hitler all the time, that he would create a situation and blame somebody else for what his own premeditations were. And this is exactly what the Muslim Brotherhood and actually, this was done by the Salafists, not by the Muslim Brotherhood. It's the Salafists, which are just as extreme as the Muslim Brotherhood. The only difference is that they actually will tell you they want to kill you, will act it out, and have no problem in the killing. The Muslim Brotherhood, secretly and amongst themselves, talk about overthrowing America and jihad and all the rest, but they will project moderation by saying that they don't agree with terrorism, and that they dress in nice Western suits, and they deceive the American public and the Western public by making statements that sound moderate in English, but when you hear what they say in the Arabic language, it's a complete contradiction. So it's double speak.
Chief?
And that they're actually more dangerous than the Salafists, because at least you know with the Salafists and Al-Qaeda types that you know exactly what their objectives are, and you know exactly what their violent nature is, so you can deal with them more easily. But we seem to be sort of deceived in the United States, or want to be deceived certainly by our politicians, both on the left and the right, who want to accept that the Muslim Brotherhood is some sort of...
I don't think anyone on the right particularly wants to. I think people on the left are morons and wouldn't know what to do if their pants were on fire. But let me get the Chief in the discussion. Chief?
Well, first of all, thanks for being on the show with us. And I believe a lot of Americans don't understand the Islamic society at all, but it's possible that the Muslims in the Middle East don't believe that their acts are terrorism, because they believe what they're doing is right and just and in accordance with their faith and their beliefs, which is murdering, destroying the Western culture. But I think this really dramatizes their tenacity and their ability and their dedication to destroy our culture and to take over and Islamicize the world. This story also dramatizes the ability of the Obama administration to just lie about anything, including the death of Americans.
The death of an American ambassador, particularly, and a guy...
Right, well, there's many people on the right are afraid to speak the truth. Talking about the mainstream right, I'm not mentioning names, but for example, the question is asked, why is Obama doing this? Why is he talking about the film? Why does he speak? Why is he doing this? And surely, we all knew that the Muslim Brotherhood was going to be bad, that we are not stupid, and that we knew that the Muslim taking over was going to be a very negative thing, and the Arab Spring was not going to work. How is it that we, ordinary members of the public, were able to see this, but the administration could not? The simple answer to the question is, which no one from the left or the right will say, especially the right should be saying, is that Obama himself is probably, and definitely, in my view, definitely is Muslim, and that's why he's acting the way it is, because he wants to help his Muslim brothers and Muslim Brotherhood take over the place. Look what's happening now. He's meeting with Morsi, the head of the president of Egypt, his Muslim Brotherhood. He has no problem and plenty of time to meet him, but he can't meet Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. He's too busy with Letterman and Beyonce and all the rest of it. So that should tell you in a nutshell, look at the way the president acts, not what he says. And if you look at exactly what he acts and the way he acts just like a Muslim.
Well, I think that Barack Obama worships Barack Obama. I don't think he's going to let God, Allah, Jesus, or anyone else get in the way of him worshiping himself. He's a narcissist to the extremity. But I do believe that he likes Muslims more than he likes Americans. Certainly the American way, the American Constitution, and the Judeo-Christian ethic of America. There I agree with you. Now, Greg is now with us. Greg, thanks for joining us, and your thoughts on this topic.
Well, I think that I joined late, so I'm not sure the name of your other guest. Would you please introduce me?
Oh, his name is Keith Davies.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir, and I think you're absolutely right. Obama is a Muslim, and I think he's engaging in the art of taqiyya. He is willing to lie and do whatever it takes to deceive others about his true intentions in the effort to advance the Muslim cause. News has come out that the embassy attack or the consular attack was known about for 3 days by the Obama administration in advance. This is being reported now widely in credible media, and yet he took no action to protect his ambassador. Second of all, he sent over there a man who is known to be a homosexual to a Muslim country where it would be known that he, when captured, would be treated to the most brutal form of beating and sodomization and death. And I believe that all of this is perfectly in line with Obama's planning of the Arab Spring, support of the Arab Spring, his frequent meetings at the White House with the Muslim Brotherhood. This is all according to Obama's plans. Both he's going to gain, or he hopes, two benefits out of this. One is a Muslim uprising, and two, some sort of false flag operation that he can hang his hat on and hope to be a wartime president and not be booted out of office, because wartime presidents tend to get to stay.
All right, interesting points.
I think, well, the last point I'd just like to pick up on, I'm not sure about the last point, because if that was true, then he should be declaring war on Iran, and he should be. But the opposite is true. He's trying to prevent Israel from self-defense, and he doesn't really want to take up that issue in terms of. So I'm not so sure. I think Obama wants to create the power structure for the Muslim Brotherhood and create the caliphate, which is now, just to correct you, taqiyya is not actually correct. It's actually maruna. Taqiyya is the Shia form of deception. It's not Sunni. Obama would be a Sunni Muslim if he was Muslim, because he's from that part of the world. Now, the difference
okay, I'll take that correction and I'll learn from it.
All right, let me
explain what maruna is.
All right, let me move the conversation along, because we're covering things that I want to be covered. There was obviously other uprisings around the Middle East, and there also was in Indonesia, in Jakarta. But it's now come out that many of these protesters, just like Occupy Wall Street, lowlifes, were paid to go in and perform. Again, this video has been out for months. There's no question but that was not the cause. But they've arranged this B-level drama, and our media is buying it hook, line, and sinker. And then you saw Hillary Clinton playing, Sarah Bernhardt. Oh, this is disgusting. First of all, there's nothing disgusting about telling the truth about Muslims. Muslims are not individual people, they vary, but the Muslim faith is based on certain premises, and those premises are what they are. And to point them out is not disgusting, it's simply putting out information that is factual. We have all kinds of people, including Bill Maher and others, saying things about Christianity, which has its people have done the wrong thing under the Christian guise. So the discussion you just told us, Keith, is that these plans were known not for 3 days, but for 3 months. Is that correct?
No, the Egyptian thing. No, not the Libyan. But the Egyptian was at least a month.
And what about the Libyan?
At least a month, maybe two, where they were planning this.
But they were going to use this film as a pretext because it's been around at least that
Correct.
long.
They were going to use it exactly. They were going to use the film as a way of. We're actually working on some other line of inquiry at the moment, but we haven't completed the research yet. We actually think this film could have possibly been made by Muslims themselves as a way of using it to attack America. In other words, they actually made the film and then put the blame on America for making it.
Well, they put the blame on some
we
Coptic.
haven't proven that yet, but we're working on a line of inquiry on that at the moment.
Yeah, these were two Coptic Christians allegedly involved in this. One that did it and one that financed it or something. But they were Egyptians, that's for sure. And now...
Well, here we've also found... Okay, let me explain about the film. We have actually discovered that the film was dubbed, that a lot of the actors, if not all the actors, did not know they were making an anti-Muslim film. And the actual speech in the film was dubbed on their mouths to fit in with the anti-Muslim agenda. And we think possibly, we haven't proven it yet, and we're just working on that line of inquiry, but we're highly suspicious that the film itself was made by Muslims.
All right, Greg, you made the comment that this ambassador was in fact homosexual. Was that known before he was appointed ambassador?
Yes, he was openly gay, and again, it was not something that should have been barred to his service in the State Department. But it is not something that you would send to an openly homophobic nation, such as Libya or Egypt or something like that. It's well known that he was gay, and so it should not have been an appointment that would have been considered, because should he have fallen into the wrong hands, he would have been subjected to the most horrible treatment, as he was.
Well, I saw the pictures. Most people believe he was already dead when they were using that wood, whatever it was, that he was killed when they RPG'd the vehicle, the unarmored vehicle in which he and the other two were riding. Just the idea that he was there on September 11th in a non-reinforced safe house, consulate my butt. They just put that man, or he chose to put himself, I don't know which, in harm's way. There was no way he should have been there without sufficient protection. Now, let me ask you, Keith, is that true or not?
Yeah, that's absolutely. I mean, first of all, 911, we had no major alert to the embassies around the world, especially in the Muslim world, to protect the embassies and 911, which would be an obviously sensitive date to do that, and it has been done in the past, and it was just ignored, right? And it seems that we were asleep at the wheel, that our State Department and our FBI, our CIA, if they did have intelligence or somewhat, ignored it, or it's also possible that the evidence was provided to the president, who never attended the briefings in order to make the right decisions to put the right security in place. And so it may have been done internally, where we need to do something. The president wasn't around; he was too busy campaigning, didn't attend the briefings he was meant to. And this slipped under the radar, and as a result, we have Dead America.
Well, I don't believe it slipped under the radar, but that's my opinion, Chief.
Well, it's interesting. It appears to me that I believe the left, since they hate America, feels they have something in common with the Islamic community, because they hate America as well, and they think that they'll be tolerated because of that reason. But in the Islamic world, you can tell me more about this than I know, but I've learned a lot, is that the only way to be tolerated in the Muslim world is to be a Muslim. If you're not, regardless of whether you hate America or not, the only way to keep your head from being chopped off or be killed in some kind of way is to adhere to the Islamic traditions and way of life.
And you're not real safe if you're a Muslim either.
No, you're not. It's the only way to avoid it for a while is to take that on. But just because you're a Democrat or a America-hating person doesn't mean that the Muslims are going to not hurt you.
Well, it reminds me of liberals in the face of Nazism, or in the face of communism, or in the face of radical Muslim or Islam, it's all the same. They kill the quote-unquote liberals first because they know that they're not able to understand or able to comply. Now, Keith, let me go to the next.
You could be tolerated. You could be tolerated in the Muslim world if you're not Muslim, but you would be a second-class citizen known as a dhimmi.
Yeah, right. Tolerated, and you pay the price, and that's only for a while until they're tired of tolerating you, and then you either convert or they kill you according to their fate.
Well, this also quickly though shows the idiocy of hate crimes in this country or worldwide, because regardless whether someone kills someone because they hate them or not, it doesn't really matter. They should be tracked down and punished because of killing someone, regardless of the motives behind it.
Keith, in Indonesia, the attackers were screaming, "Screw America," but not using the polite term. Now, that's not very correct from the Muslim perspective to be shouting about fornication. Am I right or wrong?
I would say I don't know, to be honest with you. That I can't answer. But they normally shout Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, that's my point.
God is greater. You know. But as regards to, they shout death to America. I mean, that's the standard screaming that you hear in Lebanon and from Nasrallah, from Hezbollah, with these million people crowds. People have no idea of the size of the hate of these crowds that they have at these big rallies to go against America. You can have 1 to 2, maybe 3 million people in one square, and they're all shouting at the top of their voice, "Death to America." It's scary. I mean, but they don't show it. They don't show it on the media.
It's not scary. It's a target, to me.
Right. I mean, America is the biggest king in the block. We're a powerful country, although our power is slipping because of our stupidity. The Muslims know that if they want to control the world, and Islam is to be the supreme religion, and politically to take over the world as well, they have to get rid of America and Israel. Those are the two thorns in their side, the little Satan and the big Satan.
All right.
That's what it's all about.
Let me suggest again that if we're on these rallies with 1 million or 2 million or 3 million screaming radical Muslims, a well-placed ordinance could deter the next rally, at least in my humble opinion. Now, the Muslim saints' tombs in Timbuktu were destroyed by Muslims. Would you explain that one to me?
The reason why they would destroy it because they weren't Muslim enough. In other words, the people that they were destroying, or it could be to do with Shia and Sunni. It could be a tribal thing, but because the Shia and the Sunni hate each other. I'm not particularly sure of that incident you're talking about, but it's one of those two things.
Well, again, I make the point, and I'll let Greg and Steve talk about this. I make the point that most Muslims are killed by Muslims. More Muslims are killed by Muslims than all the other groups of people that are on the face of the earth all put together. So with all their yelling and screaming and hollering at us, their real danger, their real problem, their real torture, their real discomfort, their real poor attitude does not come from us. It comes from other Muslims. Greg?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, last week on my own show, Blog Talk show, we were discussing this, and what is probably going to develop is a war between Muslim sects, the Sunni and the Shia. They are escalating. I think Keith is right. Is probably they were destroying the graves of the other sect, and that is where this comes from. They will frequently destroy very holy ancient mosques. The Sunni will go after the Shia will go after the Sunni, and this is also not being reported. We in the West tend to look at the Muslims as one big block where they are about as divided between the two as they could possibly be.
Steve?
I'll tell you, this is very scary to me, but I'm really reminded of the movie Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's just like a bunch of really wild animals that are going berserk. Like you said, they even kill each other. But the only way, there's no way to coexist with them. You either have to control them somehow or kill them, and that's the only way to do it.
All right, amen, amen, and amen. Keith?
I would agree with that. I mean, I wrote an article back when the Libyan crisis was on, and we want to help the Libyan government, and I said maybe we should just leave them, arm both sides to the hilt, and let them kill each other until one wins by one man. I mean, that's the it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, you can't. We haven't been able to achieve peace between Israel and the Arabs because it's not about peace with Israel and the Arabs. It's about victory over Israel and the destruction of the Jews. And they don't hate Jews, and we all know. You just have to watch the Arabic media and the vitriolic anti-Semitism that's shown on their media. How can you have peace with these people? I mean, in other words, I ask Jews, liberal Jews, could we negotiate with Hitler? And they say no. I said, then why do you think you can negotiate with the Muslims? Because they think exactly the same way.
Well, actually, Hitler was more moderate than the Muslims.
That's true, and that's saying something.
I mean, he was not a good guy.
It goes into the religion. In fact, their religion teaches that in the final judgment, that when their Mahdi comes, he'll come and he'll kill all the Jews. I mean, that's an inbred. In other words, their God, their prophet, the Mahdi, is going to kill all the Jews in the final judgment. In other words, in Armageddon. And basically the end times, which we think are playing out now, is the final battle between the Jewish and Christian Messiah versus the Islamic Messiah. And they want to attack and destroy Israel, and the Jewish Christian Messiah, depending on what religion you are, is going to defend the Jews in the end. And that's what we're seeing playing out right now. We don't know the timing of it, but it looks like it's playing out right now.
All right, now, Keith, we have a minute left. I want to give that to you. Tell people how they can find out about your work and support what you're doing.
Yeah, our website is shubat.com and also rescuechristians.org. Those are our two websites. One is obviously for the work of Mr. Waleed Shubat. The other one is for helping Christians. We're currently trying to help 200 families relocate from a bad area. So if anyone can support in that area, we'd really appreciate it. And I thank you. Appreciate having us on the radio.
It's our pleasure. Now, have you actually been able to relocate any Christians from Muslim countries into?
No, that's the big problem, and we're working on that at the moment. We have a big project we're working on over long term over the next year to do that. The biggest problem we have is corruption in the Western government. You can't get any visas for anyone who's Pakistani Christian. We also know of certain corruption that's going on in Western embassies where people are being bought off, and the only way to get a visa is to bribe an official at an embassy, unfortunately. We won't do that because that's illegal, but we know people who are doing it, and the people receiving bribes at the embassies, and we're hoping to expose them in the short term.
Thank you. God help you in your objectives, and thank you for being part of the Talk to Solomon.
All right, thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll be back shortly with Major General Jerry Curry, with Greg Howard, and with Chief Steve right here on Talk to Solomon. You have a computer, if you're alive today, which means you have a hard drive, which means it's going to break down. Mosey, the backup people, for thousands, for Stan, for thousands of people, for tens of thousands of people, is simply common sense. You go to cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mosey, the backup people, and sign up. It's just a few dollars a month. Let me tell you something. We had a break-in. They stole our whole computer. You know what? When they take the computer, you can't recover anything, but we had Mosey. We had the backup. We were able to restore everything simply by buying another computer. cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mosey, the backup people, and give yourself common sense, peace of mind, great value, the best thing you've ever done. Sooner or later, it's going to be Mosey, the backup people. I like to eat. Do you like to eat? We all do. And usually we run to the grocery store, we run to the convenience store, or we have something in the fridge. but power's been out in parts of this country in the last few weeks. We don't know what's going to come down the pike economically. Smart people are putting in food. Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves is a line of foods that you can put away that will last for a very long time. You know, they say eat what you store and store what you eat. This is great tasting stuff, healthy for you, a full line. You go to our website, cpnlive.com, and click on the button for Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves and see all the different things we have. This is good tasting food. It's reasonably priced. It will last. And it's worth its weight in gold if a problem arises. I know you don't think there's going to be anything that goes wrong. Actually, you do. This is smart. This is smart insurance. This is smart preparation. This is smart thinking. You have kids. You have a spouse. You have parents. You have dependents. You have an appetite. All those things can be addressed by a frugal but smart investment in Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves. Try them out. You will be tickled to death with the taste of them. And you know what? In many cases, people start to eat this and they think, heck, this tastes better and costs less than what you're going to the grocery store to buy. cpnlive.com. Check it out. Hey, my name is Stan Solomon, and you know if I have something to say, I'll say it. And I'll only tell you the truth because I'm a Republican, not a Democrat. Democrats always lie. Republicans only lie half the time. I don't lie at all. This is the Fuel Mule. It's an extraordinary product that was developed by a friend of mine, an engineer, and it increases the fuel mileage on your vehicle. If you have a combustion engine, this will increase your mileage by 10 to 20%. It bolts around your fuel line. You can install it yourself or have your mechanic do it. It is an extraordinary item, and it flat works. I've been using it for more than 10 years. It's increased my mileage on every vehicle I put it on, and by the way, it will last forever. You can get rid of your vehicle, just take it off and put it on the next one. Go to cpnlive.com. You'll have more information there. You can order it right there. We absolutely guarantee you'll be satisfied. The Fuel Mule. It's a way to kick down your cost of fuel and kick up your mileage. Don't you love the name? I thought of it. The Fuel Mule. Let me ask you a question. Do you like being sick? I have in my hand an incredible product. It's called TR10 supercolloidal silver. TR10 stands for a trace to the negative 10th power. The particles in this silver product are 6 to 8 angstroms, 6 to 8 10 billionths of a meter. Now listen to me. Silver has been the magic bullet for all of human existence. The Egyptians used silver instruments. We use silverware. They put silver in your teeth because nothing can grow on silver. Silver will kill anything but liberalism. I'm working on that. This product, you go to cpnlive.com, buy 1 quart of this product. It will last you for a very long time. Anytime you feel like you've been exposed to something bad, take some of this product, spray it in your mouth, or take a little bit and gargle it, swallow it. It will kill any pathogen. The average antibiotic kills 10 to 20 different pathogens. This product will kill 700 plus. Do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your doctor a favor. He's tired of seeing you. Get supercolloidal silver. Go to cpnlive.com, order the product. It's $29.95 plus shipping. I think it's $39.95 delivered any place in America right to your door. It's worth 10 times that. Check it out. If you're not 100% happy, just return it and we'll give you your money back.